Hello, you are listening to Off Radar, It's a Movie podcast. I'm James Smith, a professional film and video editor.
I'm James Eatock, a freelance writer and illustrator specialising in 1980s cartoons.
And I'm Neil Brock, aka Nige, the man with two names, former film journalist and currently working in the games industry.
Each week, one of us picks a movie that all three of us either haven't seen in many years or in some cases haven't seen at all.
We each watch the chosen movie, return to the microphone and let you all know exactly what we thought of it.
I'd never really had any interest in watching it and I was proved absolutely right.
I think it's amazing. I really, really love this film.
The film's still a pile of steaming dog shit.
If you fancy joining in and suggesting a movie for us to watch, why not tweet us at Off Radar Podcast
or email us on offradarpod@gmail.com.
If you like what you hear, please subscribe, share, and by all means, leave a review.
For now, strap in, turn the volume up, and let's go Off Radar.
Bum, 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 bum.
Hello.
Oh, sorry.
Welcome back to Off Radar. I'm James Smith, and in person, joining me in the flesh, in the real life flesh, the super flesh, is James Eatock.
Super Flesh? That might be my new name. Hi, I'm James Eatock, also known as Super Flesh.
Super Flesh.
Super Flash.
And
Look at my kryptonite, baby.
Neil Brock.
Hi.
But we call him Nige.
We do.
And once again, we are back in the same room. Today we have just watched Superman 3.
Literally just watched.
Together. We had a burger and a couple of drinks and watched the film, and now we're going to rate and review it. This film was recommended.
Who was it?
Friend of the podcast.
Who is it?
Bobby Tubbs.
Robert Tubbs.
Robert Tubbs.
Simon Tubbs.
He's actually called Simon.
He's Simon, but I love to call him Bobby Robert the Third Tubbs. The third comes before his surname.
The third.
But thank you, Simon. What did Simon sent you his review?
He has.
Oh, I want to get to that at the end. I want to hear that.
You will hear it.
Will it be his beautiful tones?
Simon has also recommended a couple of films that we've done before on the pod. He's also recommended The Fly and The Crow before.
Oh, he's recommended some choices.
Yeah.
I feel like he's had more choices than anyone else.
He might well have.
He's had a few.
Although Tellingly did take it to the next level by actually being on the show.
That's right. Maybe we can get Bobby on next time.
Robert Tubbs, come on the show.
With his deep voice.
Hello there, gentlemen.
This film came out in 1983.
Year I was born? Yeah.
I guess year I was born. Year we were born. Eatock?
Year I wasn't born. I was born in the age of disco, man.
He was 29.
How dare you?
He was in Canada.
True that.
But I guess starting off, had we seen this film before? Eatock, you seen this one before?
Yeah, of course I had, man. Yeah, I saw it as a kid. I remember watching it. I remember watching it around Wayne Mullen's house.
Wayne
Mullen.
Was Wayne hard?
I didn't touch it. I have to edit that out.
No, but what I mean is, it sounds like such
it
sounds like a mean name.
No, the Wayne Mullen was like he was like one of my best mates when I was a kid.
Was he well hard?
He was proper well. He was proper well
Was
hard.
he a bully?
Seriously. No, because I was on his side, so it was all right. No, he was a tough kid, and he came from like the Mullen family.
Oh.
Yeah, but his dad was a builder, his mum was a builder. Actually, I don't know about the latter, but no, his family was nice.
What does Wayne do now?
I have no idea. I haven't seen him since I was I haven't seen him probably since about 1985.
Oh, okay. But you watched it with him?
I watched it around his house, and I remember like the scene with the combine harvester, and I was like, this is the greatest film ever.
Wow.
Nige?
I like the way you remember that one.
What a scene to remember.
I remember watching this. I think it was on like ITV when I was probably like 10, 8.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Some young age. Yeah. Hadn't seen it in quite a long time.
Likewise.
Was amazed at how much I recalled as we were watching it. Yeah. But it's a film I watched many, many years ago.
Yeah, I will say that before we get into it. It's like I hadn't seen this this film since Tullingly, friend of the podcast. I was staying at his place back in about 06, 07.
Oh, so you've watched it again since? Yeah.
So that was the last time I saw it.
Yeah.
But it was like he had the DVD box set with the Brandon Routh movie had just come out. So it was after that.
Superman Returns?
Superman Returns.
Yeah, 2006.
Yeah, and they did like this Supreme box set. And and I was like, I might as well go through them all and watch them one by one. I did, including Quest for Peace. So
wow,
it's like being a baby returning to a soiled nappy.
But it was funny, like Nige said, watching this film, like bits of it I'd forgotten, but also like, oh my God, I remember that. But it was more not from the memories from, having seen it at Tunningly's place, but from like a long time ago. It was just like, oh, I remember this scene, and I remember this scene. And I remember like how it made me feel as a kid as well, which sounds like maybe a bit melodramatic.
I think I said in the first episode that we did. In fact, worth pointing out straight away, we've done a few other DC films, but we've done Superman. We've also done Joker, Batman Returns, and The Batman.
Do you know what? I didn't realise how many we'd done.
So we've done a few of this universe.
Wow.
But yeah, Superman, I remember saying that I used to love Superman as a kid. It was one of my favourite films when I was growing up. So I used to watch this, Superman 2 specifically, and I have seen Superman 3 and Quest for Peace. But, like Nige, it would have been around 10 years old for Superman 3, not seen it since. So only scene I could really remember was the scene where he kind of fights himself.
That's the one that kind of transcends the film.
But that was it, really. So yeah, it was interesting going back, and interesting that someone's recommended this, because it's not a film I would think to go back and watch.
And with all respect to Bobby Tubbs, it's not one I'd recommend. I think he'd recommend to watch either.
It's quite a surprise.
That's why I'm like, Bobby Tubbs? That's why I can't wait to hear his review at the end, because it's like, I want to know what he thinks of it.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing what he says.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at that either. He only just sent it just before we were about to record.
Oh, wow.
Good time.
And yeah, directed by Richard Lester, who... first one, as we said, I think we said this on the first one we did, the Richard Donner obviously directed the first film. On the second one,
he did most of it.
He did some of it, but then had a fallout with, and then I think he got fired.
Did Lester come in and do that?
So Lester. So Superman 2 is Richard Lester's film, and
because
then,
he put all the comedy in, didn't he?
Well, I mean, that's kind of...
Well, it's what links it to Superman 3. When you look at Superman 2, when he's fighting the Kryptonians, and the Kryptonians blow the city, and all the people are like, whoa! I remember like them saying, this isn't the Donner cut, this is what Richard Lester did.
But I think after...
Yeah,
exactly. In 2006, around the time of Superman Returns, I think Richard Donner... There's
quite a famous director's cut.
Yeah.
And
again,
everyone's like, oh my God, if they had released this.
Again, I think that's on the... I think that was on the DVD box set. Yeah, that was on the DVD box set that I watched for Tunnel.
Right.
Because
I'm not sure I've ever seen the...
Because the end of the second one...
That one.
The end of the second one is the same as the end of the first one. He goes backwards in time.
You said this
and it's
as
just
well,
like,
yeah.
It's like... What? But I think it's all to do with like the editing and how the films were supposed to be, because it was never finished. So
I can't remember Superman 2 all that well, to be honest.
With the evil Kryptonians.
When we watched...
I remember that bit,
Bow before Zod.
Yeah, when we watched Superman, I went back and watched Superman 2, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed going and watching that one again. But yeah, starring, obviously, Christopher Reeve.
As well, quickly, before you move on to this, Richard Lester was also quite well known for directing like Beatles, like videos and films.
That's right.
Back in the 60s.
Okay.
So actually did A Hard Day's Night,
which is probably
the most famous
the
Beatles film.
Right.
Also did Help and directed like the music video for that as well.
Oh, wow.
So sounds like he's clearly British as well, based on that. So
based on the casting for this movie as well.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. And after, I would say, Superman 3... didn't really do anything of note.
No.
So yeah. Anyway, move on to the actor, Smith.
Christopher Reeve. Again, some of this stuff we might have said on the previous episode. Go back and listen to that. But yeah, Christopher Reeve is Superman to me. Always will be. I recently, I don't know if you guys have seen this, watched Superman, the Christopher Reeve story, which is a documentary.
On Sky? Yeah, I watched it about 2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, same. And I thought it was really interesting because it kind of flicks between like his rise of becoming Superman, like his kind of story, but then it also goes into the point where he has the horse riding accident and has loads of like video footage of that, and it's really... Well, it's very tragic, obviously, but it's
heartbreaking,
really real. But also, I didn't realise one of the things that they show in this documentary is when Reeve died in 2004, that his wife was diagnosed with lung cancer
heartbreaking.
A year or two later. And then it kind of, what it does really well in the documentary is focuses in on his kids.
Yeah, the kids.
And how they kind of continue the legacy, foundation and the legacy. And I'd recommend anyone who's interested in... Well, to be honest, even if you're not, it's a really, really interesting, heartbreaking, but also like goes into his career and, you know, how he could never step away from Superman. No. Almost like it was like a poison chalice. He loved to play Superman, but at the same time, his career was never... He could never feel like he could be taken seriously as an actor.
It's like Mark Hamill from Star Wars, like Luke Skywalker. I know he went on to do like the voice of Batman and a few other things as cartoons, but
voice of Joker.
Voice of Joker, sorry, I should say. But yeah, he was quintessentially just stuck in that role and never really got past it. But I remember Christopher Reeve was in, I believe, John Carpenter's like Village of the Damned.
That's
like
it.
The kids, creepy kids with the blonde hair. But I don't really remember him being in anything else at all. I know he did some good like TV stuff.
I remember in the remake of the Hitchcock one,
Rear Window.
Rear Window. That was kind of infamous because that was obviously after the accident, wasn't it? Or
on that documentary, they showed that advert where he gets up and walks, and it was like, what I loved about that documentary. Sorry to already talk about the documentary so much, is that it didn't shy away from his mistakes. It was like, don't get me...
Superman 4.
I think he actually did address that as like, that was a big mess.
The way you're right, the way he was not there for his children and stuff like that, and
which
how
is all
actually,
and it's all,
it was, the accident changed him for the better in some weird way, in a kind of human way.
But it is like, we've got to talk about how handsome he was, though.
Really handsome. But one last thing. The reason I watched that doc was actually a different doc, which I just wanted to bring up because it is linked, which is called David Holmes, The Boy Who Lived, which is about the stunt double for Daniel Radcliffe.
I've seen about that.
And
got badly injured
it's such a brilliant documentary. And actually, I watched that because obviously this guy, when he was working on Harry Potter, gets paralysed. And it's his story. But anyway, the Christopher Reeve one kind of got suggested on my kind of algorithm afterwards. Yeah. So I watched both. But David Holmes one as well, I would recommend if you want to know about that. It's an incredible story, and he is an incredible man. So anyway,
that was Christopher Reeve in the cast.
Yeah,
who else is in the film?
Yeah, God, we won't go into as much detail. I believe
some comedian called Richard Pryor.
Richard Pryor. So I guess known more as a comic actor in the 80s.
Comedian, probably more than even an actor.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I think he kind of did this role because he was looking to do a more serious role. He did a few things with
Gene Wilder.
Of course, also did...
What did he do? Brewster's thingy?
Brewster's Millions.
Brewster's Millions he didn't do with him, but was obviously...
not with Gene Wilder.
That came out after, I think.
He's in See No Evil and Hear No Evil, Bustin' Loose, Harlem Nights.
I saw that at the cinema.
Is there another one as well? Stir Crazy is the other one.
Stir Crazy is one of the...
And Silver Streak as well, but... He never really broke through necessarily in like a serious film, and he thought this would be his like big break into a serious film. And
did he read the script?
Well, that was the thing, but he did get paid a lot of money for it, so there was always that. But he was actually on the Johnny Carson show, Richard Pryor, and they were joking around. He said, "I'm really looking forward to seeing Superman 3," and that basically got him cast because the director saw that and thought, I really want to work with Richard Pryor. And obviously, as we've already mentioned, he had those comedic sensibilities anyway. And lo and behold, that's kind of how it ended up.
Richard Lester, obviously a comedy director with this movie. It's sort of like, get one of the best comedians on the planet to, be in your movie.
Yeah. Robert Vaughn, personally, I remember... just watching like a weird one growing up, Man from U.N.C.L.E. I know him best from, and I know he's been in loads of like kind of 70s kind of those shows, and then he obviously went on to kind of do that kind of...
He was on like a BBC
he went on,
series?
Went on to do Coronation Street.
No
really?
Way.
He was in a Coronation Street. I remember him being in some like random BBC series.
It's like a BBC like spy thriller spooks-esque.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up what that is because I remember him being in that as well. But I have no idea what it was.
I forget what the name of that was called.
Wow.
Hustle,
that was it, yes.
Wow.
He was also in an episode of Little Britain, USA.
Wow.
He's got 229 sort of films and TV shows.
Oh wow!
On
well, we
like
won't do him record. On the actor or actor. I would take all day, but yeah. So he obviously plays the villain, as it were. Margot Kidder is obviously
briefly in it.
Credited, who
and
is
quite
not.
highly billed, I think, as well.
I was going to say on IMDb, she's like number 2.
I almost want to go back and look
weird.
at the credits and
sure
see when she came
it
up.
says and Margot Kidder as
maybe
Lois
they did
Lane.
that. Yeah.
I think they did an and at the end.
And then what was her name? Annette O'Toole.
Annette O'Toole
is the Lana
love interest.
The love interest.
Lana
and actually, if you
Lang.
look at her now, an image of her now at 73,
she's
she
the
looks
same.
incredible.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny actually. So something we should probably mention now is obviously after the Superman films and even the reimagining of Superman Returns, they did the TV show that was very successful, Smallville, and there was a lot of people who were in the original Superman films, including Christopher Reeve, who came back and played roles, and she played the role of Clark Kent's mother.
That's right.
No way.
So
I did not know
and she still looked amazing then, and that was what, I don't know, 20 years ago.
It's just like it's one of those kind of not to go into a tangent, but it's just like one of those natural beauties.
Oh, definitely.
It's like, it's just like Christopher Reeve. It's just like, it's a good looking couple right there. We've got surely 2 more main cast members, which is the sister. I don't know the actress's name.
Annie Ross.
Was that?
Annie Ross.
Annie Ross plays
Vera.
Vera, the sister of
the
Ross
robotic
Webster.
Vera, so
robotic brainiac or something.
She was
like
also
that.
in Throw Mama from a Train, Pump Up the Volume with Christian Slater.
What?
Yeah, a few other things. I don't recognise her for
yeah,
anything
don't
else.
recognise
I don't know.
And then finally we have rounding out the cast. Rounding might be the specific word.
Mrs. Billy Connolly.
Mrs. Billy Connolly. That's
That
such
kind
an
of
insult.
was a bizarre one, that one.
Yeah, Pamela Stevenson, who was famous in the very early 80s, late 70s, early 80s for Not the 9 O'Clock News and stuff.
So Billy Connolly's wife, to be clear.
Oh yeah, Billy Connolly's wife. Yeah,
still his wife.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember as a kid, again, you don't understand quite what you're feeling, but I remember thinking she's really pretty, and just it's like the women in the Cannonball Run. I was like, they're really pretty, and I didn't understand why they were, kind of connecting with me.
Because you like fast cars.
Well, I do like a Lamborghini Countach, and Pamela Stevenson in this. I love her character, but we'll get into that later.
What's it about?
You want me to do a synopsis that I literally wrote in about? We'll see how this goes.
Feels like you're doing the Not the 9 O'Clock News.
Look at that. Etok's got his
papers down, ready to go.
He's literally got a notepad with some notes.
Yes.
Actually, random Pamela Stevenson fact before you jump in.
Hit me with it.
She was a candidate for the Blancmange Throwers Party in the parliamentary constituency of Windsor and Maidenhead in 1987.
Wow.
Free blancmanges for pensioners and the unemployed. She finished with 328 votes, the fewest of all the candidates.
That might be my favourite bit of nice trivia ever.
Yeah,
sorry.
I really do like I'm about to read the news. Welcome to the 10 o'clock news. With Lex Luthor behind bars and the evil Kryptonians defeated seemingly for good, Superman is able to take some time away from Metropolis and, as Clark Kent, heads back to his hometown of Smallville. Back home, Clark renews a long-lost love with Lana Lang, his one-time sweetheart.
Chicka chicka wow wow.
Yeah. Meanwhile, back at Metropolis, Ross Webster, a wealthy industrialist, that's the right word, wants to control the world's coffee supply. In brackets, no, seriously. But with Superman recently having scuppered his scheme, nice alliteration there, Webster utilises the aid of Gus Gorman, a computer genius, to help him destroy Superman. With kryptonite, an evil clone, and a supercomputer against him, how will Superman prevail?
When it's time for adventure, it's time for Superman. Alexander Salkind presents Christopher Reeve and Richard Pryor in Superman 3. This time, Richard Pryor has come to Metropolis.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And he's got something to sell. He's the best con man and the world's greatest computer genius.
Let me tell you something. I can't ski.
Superman 3.
Here we go.
The tone. The tone of this film.
Established from the beginning.
From the beginning of the film. Obviously, after we get the slightly bizarre Richard Pryor scene right at the start.
The unemployment office.
Unemployment
scene,
thing.
isn't it?
Yeah,
That is the very first scene.
First words in the film. Gus Gorman. It's just like, I like that.
But
Augustus.
we get this bizarre montage of...
Yeah, I guess montage of Slapstick.
Slapstick. It's like a Benny Hill. If you had
That's a
Benny
great
Hill
shout.
music, like there's a blind man
walking his dog.
Walking.
He's walking his dog.
It's almost like Ealing comedy style as well.
That's a really good shout.
Yeah.
And then
a blind man walking his dog, and then there's
but then he's got the line thing for the
penguin that gets set on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Toy penguins that all go. One gets set fire to.
There's one pushing like a road marker as well.
Well, there's
like
a man pushing a road marker who goes to help. Basically, it's a sequence of events, all instigated by Pamela Stevenson's character.
Yeah, just walking past and being
she's
very attractive, wearing
attractive.
a revealing jumpsuit, shall we say?
Yeah, and her beauty causes a classic British actor who's in many an advert for booze. To walk into, if he's even wearing a flat cap, walks into a
Sandy cap.
I think it might be. Walks into a lamppost, and then he falls over, and each like calamity leads to something else, but it leads to a little action set piece where a car ends up over a fire hydrant. The water's like the guy can't get out of his car and he's drowning. And I was saying,
the water's coming out from the inside,
of the car, and like it's filling up the car, and this man's drowning. And it's a really, I remember saying to Nige when I was just like, as a kid, this terrified me to see. There's a man drowning in a car.
We don't even have fire hydrants in the UK. So
exactly.
What am I scared of?
What was it? I was just scared of those fire hydrants.
just scared of a car filling up with water.
In fairness, when someone's in it, I think that was I wonder. I'd love to go back, and it's like when I used to go to the car wash with my dad. Did I get scared ever? At the car wash.
But I think, straight up, like when you've got Superman 1 and 2, and then you dive into this one, like
it's
the
like,
tone that is,
but like
the tone is set like in a totally different way.
I would say like go back and watch 2, and you do have that because, as we've said, Richard Lester came in,
not to
as
that
much,
level, right?
But you do have like silly little moments, and Richard Lester having those comedy beats in the second one during the action scenes.
But it certainly wouldn't start off like
not
this.
like
I can't remember them at all.
I can't.
Superman 2.
Oh yeah, have a look. They're there. Like I say, when
in this way,
when the Kryptonians are blowing, there's a man on roller skates going whoa, and the telephone box. The man on the telephone box getting blown down the road, still on the phone. He's in a telephone box on the phone, getting blown down the road like. Blah, 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 blah. It's just like this is Superman.
Yeah,
Superman 2, like I say, but that was Richard Lester taking off. But completely, the tone is set right from the beginning.
Absolutely, and part of this straight away. Obviously, we spoke about John Williams a lot over this podcast. We spoke about it with Star Wars, with Indy, with Superman, probably other films. So obviously the Superman bars and music in 1 and 2 is prevalent throughout the whole film. But in this film, we depart away from that quite a lot. So we have it.
I felt like we had a lot of John Williams stuff in there.
We have some of it, but I don't know. Did John Williams do all of the music for this? Because
no.
It did not feel like it.
No.
Go on, Nige.
It was Ken Thorne who did it. So he kind of came in,
a lot.
Used the Superman film, other films, and then a guy called Grugio Moreda was hired to create the actual songs for the film. But obviously, as you say, it wasn't John Williams. It did get lambasted to the extent it was actually nominated for a Razzie for its score.
Really, I know that maybe I'm like in the minority. I really enjoyed the score for this movie, like where he's affected by the kryptonite. You've kind of got like a darker version.
I think in the dark moments it's brilliant, but if you think about all the kind of comic moments in this, film,
I mean, you can't get away from that. But like,
I'm not necessarily saying it's a criticism, but it just didn't feel like John Williams.
Well, just to put this in comparison, in 1985, the winner of the Razzie for worst.
You're going to say
score
Ghostbusters
was a man called Vince DiCola for Rocky IV. So whether or not we agree with the Razzies,
I think we know what the Razzies can do.
But anyway, the tone of the music is very different, so we get lots of different, and obviously the tone suits the film.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
You know, so
but the film probably didn't suit the expectations of the audience at the time. I think that's what.
No, I think that's fair.
To risk doing a James E talk, imagine if you'd have gone to watch the first of 2 Avengers films, for instance, in the modern day Marvel universe, and suddenly the third one, they're like, we're going to play this one for gags, which they kind of did eventually.
They did with like Taika Waititi.
Exactly.
You look at the first 2
Thor films.
The
Jesus
Thor films.
Christ.
Thor 1 and 2. The first one was directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Yep.
And they took the whole thing about Norse mythology and these gods, as it were, who like lived in Asgard. And it was like, wow, this is like, you really said. And Thor was like a character that, yeah, he was kind of, as Smith loves to say, a fish out of water, you know, and it's true. Like, that was the whole thing about Thor. But they still played him as like, I'm a serious god. And then Taika Waititi comes in with the third and fourth movie, and the fourth one, oh my goodness.
Is that the one with Russell Crowe doing that weird Greek accent?
God, yeah, it's just, 4 was bad.
Yeah,
3 was
bad.
like, I didn't mind 3 with the tonal shift. It kind of goes into a comedy thing. Not, I suppose it does slapstick in places, but that whole Taika Waititi influence did change the tone of the Marvel Universe to the point where now you can't have a scene, from what I've seen, because I barely watch the movies now, with a character going, oh, remember when Tony Stark died? And it's like, oh man, Tony Stark was just some rich boy with it. And it's just like, oh man, like, what is... Yeah. So you've kind of... And I can imagine with this movie, much like the Marvel ones, you kind of... Not you insult your audience, but you kind of pull the rug out from under your audience. You go and see a Superman film, and I think we can agree there are plenty of action set pieces in this, maybe some of which don't even need to be in the film. But like, yeah, I just think that, and with the Marvel ones, like, it's pulling the rug out, and I think this one very much did the same thing.
Way to go, Superman!
In this 1983, you've had essentially a trilogy created. This is the third film.
Yeah.
How frequent was that? Obviously, you had the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly type films, but again, they weren't like the Good, the Bad, the Ugly 1, the Good, the Bad, the Ugly 2.
Had Star Wars even done a third movie yet?
No, I don't think so. Wasn't Return of the Jedi like 87 or something like that?
I think it was 85.
Okay.
84, 85, I think, Return.
Oh, no, it was 83, in fact. So
Return of the Jedi was 83.
around the same time.
So
But again, it wasn't like they were just like 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
And obviously, Return to the Jedi appealed more to the kids. You had the Ewoks, all that kind of stuff. But it's a very strange tonal shift. But again, Richard Pryor, they're trying to reach a different audience. Was it successful? I guess that's what we're here to decide now.
Well, it probably was. I don't think it was successful.
I was going to ask you about the box office.
Well, box office. So the first two both made over 100 million. This one cost, made over $100 million back in the day. That's one cost just under 40 million. And made about 80, so it doubled its money, which means it wasn't a flop necessarily, but it didn't reach the same heights
and critically, I imagine it got
absolutely lampooned. Now,
and even by audiences.
I'm not going to tell you IMDb ratings until after we've done our reviews, but I was very surprised when I saw what the rating was.
Okay.
And I guess just one of the things for me, like not remembering this film at all. Obviously, Superman and Lois. That's part of Superman for me from 1 and 2.
That's part of the lore.
When
Spider-Man and Mary Jane, that kind of
Torval and Dean. It's
Torval and Dean.
It's exactly like that. Richard and Judy.
Richard and Judy.
Superman and Lois. But straight up, Lois is in this for a couple of minutes, which is a real shock.
I think she has 12 lines in the film.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. It's interesting though. The Daily Planet. I remember saying in the first one how brilliant the Daily Planet scenes were because they felt so real and hustly and bustly and kind of, like a newsroom, like you say, like a documentary. In this one, it feels so flat. Like the kind of all of that atmosphere is kind of sucked out, and it's just so flat. It's played
almost like a comedy stage play with people coming in outdoors.
Yeah, and bringing in
one fixed shot.
Yeah, someone comes in here.
Someone comes in here.
The odd reverse shot, but not much else.
Yeah, it's played totally different. But anyway, back to the point that Lois is gone.
She's in Bermuda.
And it's quite a weird departure, isn't it? It's like, okay, well, Lois is here, but now she's gone on holiday or whatever she's doing.
No, I don't remember necessarily. Is Superman 2 the one where she's like dies in the car and he goes backwards in time? Okay.
Yeah, that's number one.
But like, what is the relationship between Clark and Lewis at the end of the second film?
Lois.
Lois Lane.
Lois Lane. What's their relationship in the second one?
At the end of the second one.
So
where's the leap off point for the third one? What should their relationship be?
Smith was about to say,
seems very distant.
Go on, Smith.
From what I remember, she finds out.
He reveals it, kind of thing, semi.
But
then he pops around the edge like, forget it.
He gives her the forgettable kiss.
Yeah,
you forget.
And then you're like, as an audience, you're like, oh man, why is he?
It's basically a reset.
It's like the Men in Black.
It is exactly that. Yeah.
And so going into this movie, if you're an audience member and you like, I'm sure previews would have said that she ain't going to be in it much, but even if you thought, oh, she's in the cast, so she's going to be in it, you thought, where's their relationship going to go next? Now,
it's like Mulder and Scully. What's going to happen?
What's going to happen next? With regards to her role being reduced, now it's either one or two things, and I think I know the answer.
Well, yeah, I do. So.
Yeah, you're going to know the answer.
James Eatock creeped on set. And
no, I didn't do anything.
The stalker's here.
He's back.
Run away.
He's barely 8 years old, and yes, he's stalkering.
He's watched a lot of films in Canada. Watch out.
Watch out. He's hard.
He's 89 in the future.
Here's the Man of Steel.
With Wayne.
No, I was going to say, like, obviously, I think there was a whole contract dispute, but surely the script...
It wasn't the contract.
Okay, well, but surely the script would have already been penned to say, well, in this story, he's going to be in Smallville, so you can't really play a role in it. Go, Nige.
So it was mainly to do with Superman 2 and the firing of Richard Donner. So she was very
She's a Donner,
direct and kind of vocal about her displeasure about that fact. Although people have later said, oh, no, it had nothing to do with it. It was just the fact that the Lois Lane and Clark Kent thing had been overdone. Couldn't do the same thing for 3 films in a row. But the very strong theory from that period was that she almost got blacklisted because of it. And likewise, there was rumours the same happened with Gene Hackman and obviously playing Lex Luthor in the first 2 and then eventually coming back for the 4th. But he later came out and said, actually, I just had some other stuff going on. And also, similarly, you wouldn't want necessarily the same bad guy 3 films in a row because where are you going with that kind of thing? So, but yeah, it was mainly down to the fact that she was quite outspoken and they kind of wrote her out of it. So
wow.
I mean, the structure of this movie is really kind of odd. I find, like, I know this is almost like a broader kind of review, but it's a really weird film. It feels like, I don't know if you'll agree, it feels like 2 films, as in, you know, you get the first section, which is we establish Gus Gorman, we establish Ross Webster, or Webster we'll just call him, and those kind of baddies. And we establish Superman, you know, he's the hero, he's going to stop their evil plans kind of thing. Then we get the evil like the kryptonite story, which creates an evil Superman. And you think, oh, that's the film. Then we get, whilst that's happening, we also get the evil supercomputer. Like when I did my summary at the end,
I was so confused by that.
Well, that's the thing. My summary at the end kind of with kryptonite, an evil clone, and a supercomputer.
Yes.
It's like plus you could add and Gus Gorman. And Webster.
A new love interest.
And a new love interest.
Well, 2 love interests, really. Yeah. Because let's be honest, Superman bangs the bad girl.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, evil Superman. Yeah.
Yeah, evil Superman.
Evil Superman.
I'm sorry, lady.
I guess before we get there, we should say that Clark meets Lana. What's her name? Lana.
Lovely Lana. How can you not know Lana Lang?
Lana
sorry.
Lang.
That's disgusting,
at a high school
in Smallville
reunion
as well. Because
I think one of the interesting things they do in this film, is we take it back to Smallville, and obviously, you know, in 1 and 2, where
it's I know we get all over again.
The backstory of Smallville, but most of the films are set in Metropolis. So actually, what I quite liked about this film
it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, we go back to Smallville.
It
feels like we travel back in time, and they do that by emphasising the fact that they're going back for a reunion or whatever it is.
And
20-year high school reunion.
And Clark's going to write an article about, like, small town boy, you know, revisits and stuff like that.
And nobody really cares in the office. They're like, Clark, you're rubbish. Just go.
I do like what I do like about
that connection is loose, isn't it?
Yeah, very loose. I mean, what I do like about the whole Smallville thing, like the scenes there, is they paint it as a really small town, but they don't paint it as a town flourishing or anything like that. Like
no.
when they, I never forget that scene when they, you know, again the combine harvesters, when they go for that picnic, it's really grey, it's windy,
cornfield again,
it's grim. It's like really, it doesn't look like this is lovely. Tidy. It's a lovely picnic between.
It's not like by a beautiful lake and a nice forest.
Yeah.
It's like it's like in Quantum Leap when he leaps back to his old farm.
Nice shout.
It's that kind of place.
Yeah. But
oh boy.
Lana, I think I'll just go see if Ricky's all right. You okay?
Yeah.
Like the combine harvester scene, it's brief, but I think that
sense of like, oh my
god, like it's so tense. Like, but then you get that shot where like Clark's kind of like, you can hear the dog whining in the distance. You got super hearing,
and then we see the super hearing, which you and I were like,
what?
What? You can kind of see the lines.
I don't ever remember seeing that. It might have been just because I was used to like TV broadcast 4:3
Great
as well. Yeah, it's like a really good. Like the set pieces in this film are really, really good. I think some of
they
them
haven't aged that badly.
No, like we were saying. I mean, we obviously get onto later, but the fight between Clark Kent and Superman.
No, we will. Yeah, we should definitely go onto that.
Right.
But yeah, the fire scene. Yeah, all right. Some of it's miniatures, and I think even I commented like Thunderbird-esque almost.
But
it works pretty well.
Oh yeah.
And like you've got the green to red. Oh, the acid if it gets too hot. Kind of stuff, and you get Jimmy, who's gone with him back to Smallville to take photos.
God, Jimmy,
finding himself in a hot
Jimmy's
bother.
another one who's in it for like, I don't know, 15 minutes or something, and then he's just gone.
He's gone.
I think one of the things with this film is characters will come into this film, and then all of a sudden, like even Richard Pryor, is, if you look at the poster of this film, it's bizarre, right? You've got Christopher Reeve holding Richard Pryor's character.
I think there was
I think is a bizarre marketing choice.
I think there was an earlier poster, if I remember rightly. Which
okay.
I'm saying the final one that we've all seen is that, but I think when the film was in the cinemas, it was a different poster of like, I feel like it was Superman flying, and then the classic kind of heads of actors are below.
Right.
Like, so it was like a painting of Superman, like, and then you had like starring, Robert Vaughn, Richard Pryor.
But anyway, so going back to that point, but basically, for moments of this film, like Lana, who is meant to be, like this big love interest, will come into this film for, I don't know, a good 20, 30 minutes, and they do a really good job of developing a story around these two.
Oh, definitely.
Considering how invested I was in Lois and Superman or Clark. But then, when the action starts, she's not in the film for, I don't know, 45 minutes.
She just keeps like popping up in the background.
And it's just like
I'm on
with
the
her
tube,
kid.
I'm on the phone.
It's really
The thing
weird.
that Smith pointed out was like towards the end, like Gus Gorman shows up and it's like, oh yeah, he's in this. We haven't seen him for about 10 minutes.
He's like on a donkey for a bit. And then
we don't see him like while the missile attack is happening. You think you'd at least get a kind of reaction shot of him going like, what the hell is that? Just hearing like seeing missiles fly over or something.
Just chucking everything at the wall and seeing what sticks.
I will say something we've talked about, like Clark and Lana Lang. I do like it because they almost feel like they're very similar in personality. They're both really awkward.
The way they like almost cross the streams in the sense that she says one thing but means another, and he takes it the wrong way.
She's talking about, like, she's looking at something, talking about it, then she'll immediately talk about something else. He's still talking about that thing, and then it's
great chemistry.
It's really good.
It's really good
really
because
good.
The other thing that she's really interested in Clark, whereas with Lois she was
interested in Superman.
That's actually a really good point.
Yeah. So it's like the dynamic is shifted to the opposite.
It is interesting. One thing,
Superman tries it on with Lana, and she's a bit like, you should go like do the superhero thing.
Yeah,
and
I was just thinking this, like with Clark, it is funny that when he's back in Smallville, he still plays the role of Clark Kent. Do you know what I mean? He's still bumbling and oafish. He doesn't really need to be.
No.
He does that at the Daily Planet because that's to maintain the illusion that, I couldn't possibly be Superman because I'm slightly hunched and I'm like a bit clumsy and stuff.
Well, I wonder if he was that in school and it's him regressing
it may
back
be
to
like,
that.
it could be that he's sort of like, because obviously around Lana, he kind of does go into that almost like young boy, like high school kind of. They both do. They
like
both
nervous love kind of thing. Yeah,
I'm required. It's like, let's kind of almost pick up where we left off, and it's almost like a crime when you think about the fourth movie that. She's not even in it. And
I can't even remember.
I don't even know.
I
don't even know if Lois Lane's in the fourth one. I can't.
I can't remember. But I know, obviously. Well, jumping ahead, Lana ends up getting a job at the Daily Planet. But as you said in the fourth film, she's not in it at all. She never gets referenced.
And that film,
she's totally written out.
That film has a lot of Daily Planet scenes. So obviously they just couldn't get her in. Or the budget of Superman 4, from what I understand, was like very low. But I
don't think she did enough elsewhere to that her paycheck would have necessarily been broken. So.
One character we haven't actually spoke about yet is bloke from The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Russ Webster.
Russ Webster.
Robert
Webster.
Vaughn.
But yeah, I love how. So in this, he's basically the Bond villain, right?
He's basically Lex Luthor with hair.
Yeah, or Lex Luthor.
But I think I really like him.
But
I really like him.
He's really good.
He's a great actor. He's very
in the role.
charismatic.
And they set him up with all the kind of the sets around him. They made
the revolving
doors,
exactly,
like the
revolving table,
revolving table, and stuff like that. But he does a really good job in that role. It's confusing that he is cast alongside Richard Pryor, who is, like you said, like coked up off his head, and
it was
just
that era
idiot.
of Richard Pryor,
because the dynamic between the two for me just doesn't work at all. Because you've got this kind of like traditional Lex Luthor, Gene Hackman sort of role. and a comic thing, and it just doesn't work.
That's interesting. Go on.
As much as I like Robert Vaughn, he does feel very like B-movie-ish compared to someone like Gene Hackman.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah.
So I think that kind of destabilizes it a tiny bit, and you're right in the sense of how he kind of connects with Richard Pryor. I get the feeling, as you said, he was a bit coked off, a bit out of it, like trying to prove himself. Richard Pryor, this is. And probably ad-libbed quite a bit, and there's almost like this weird awkwardness between them, but it kind of helps the characters because he's like the underling versus the man with loads of money who's his boss, and he's caught in with his sort of hand in the till, essentially. So with the ultimate shaving the pennies off half the cents off the dollars, whatever you want to call it.
Of the payments that go to the company.
Which does get referenced as well as a scheme in Office Space.
Office Space, yes.
Which is the guy who did like Beavis and Butthead, Mike Judge. Office Space. That's a film we should probably do for the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Considering it's got the guy from Dodgeball in as well.
Milton.
And also we're in Office whilst we record this, so what better place? We're just pushing buttons, just like Richard Pryor.
Just like Richard Pryor.
Get you to come in on the...
But I will admit, I really do like the villains in this. I do like kind of the little group they've got as well. Like we've said, we've got Webster, we've got his sister.
Oh, we need to talk about Old Stevenson. Like
Pamela Stevenson is fantastic.
Ulterior, she's basically a genius who's being a bimbo.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really make much sense why. And she also seduces Superman, the only person to do so, I think, in the history of like DC Comics, essentially. And then you got Richard Pryor, who's basically down on his luck guy who hasn't had a job in years, who's suddenly a computer genius by just typing in literally what I want to happen. Well, like, make me a millionaire.
That's the thing. We were talking about this during the film. It's
just bizarre.
It's 1980s computer script writing, isn't it? Where it's like, well, with this computer, you can control a weather satellite. Well, how do we do that? Well, you just type into the weather satellite, control weather.
In loads of green writing.
In loads of green text. Because it is that time when that's computer's raw code. I still remember my Amstrad CPC 464, and the first thing I ever programmed was a spreadsheet, a He-Man spreadsheet in 1984.
Wow,
like to learn how to do, run, space, quotation mark, and I built a little spreadsheet, like fucking saved it on cassette, loaded it back up, loaded. But that's the thing, like, so when this film came out as a kid, probably as an adult as well, you're like, oh yeah, this is probably how computers do work to a degree. I mean, it is absurd how much control the not the supercomputer at the end, but the computers that Gus Gorman operates has. It's like, with this, I mean, they try and like explain it away. It's like, with this
Colombia,
computer, I can
destroy the weather
weather.
crops. The coffee crops.
Isn't it funny as well? Like the first Superman film, it's all about Gene Hackman and real estate.
It's flooding, isn't it?
Because
Silicon Valley.
I want real estate. Superman 2 is about world domination because you've got the aliens. So, but it's still everything's certain. Like world domination is nothing new. But you've got real estate in this film. Like I said in the synopsis, it's like kind of the initial plan is I'm going to control the coffee market.
Dun, dun, dun. It's like, everyone is gonna be caffeine free.
Which, as we said during the film, is leads to a really weird scene where Richard Pryor sets into motion this like evil weather
by going to Smallville.
By going to Smallville,
coincidence.
It goes to Smallville.
I need to find a computer in the middle of nowhere. Where's the middle of nowhere? Smallville.
Smallville has a computer.
Okay. I'll just bump into Clark Kent and wax him with the door.
How convenient.
And then I wear my Colonel Sanders suit.
But he does
hang out with the drunk that fancies Lana Lang.
Yeah, Brad,
the ex high school quarterback type person.
But we get this scene where like he controls the weather, and then we're like, oh wow, all the weather's been set in motion. The next scene is Webster and his lovely associates on top of this
ski lodge on top of a building.
But it's like a ski lodge on top of this, which leads to a really bizarre scene. And they're like, we're winning. We now control the coffee industry because we've caused like horrendous flooding and weather in Colombia, etc., etc.
Ruined some Daily Planet competition winners' holidays.
Yeah, exactly, which is a subplot no one needed.
Yeah.
And then and then like the next thing, Richard Pryor comes in and he's like, oh my God, like you didn't believe what I see on the telly, and he's talking about like Superman. But I mean, it is such a funny scene because he's basically praising what Superman did. Like he's like in awe of like, oh my God, he flew up into a tornado.
Everything we did, he just shouted
like,
over.
And Nigel's like, how does he know all this happened? It's like, I'm guessing he watched the news, but even then it's like, how would they even know? It's like, we saw Superman fly into the tornado and suddenly it was better. Just like, but no, we see him. I still believe, and I'm sure it'll be on IMDb trivia somewhere, that I think they filmed a bunch of weather-based action scenes and thought, this film's already running at 2 hours. Let's have Richard Pryor just, when he does his monologue, we'll just intersperse these scenes from in, because that would make sense.
But how can we make it make sense? Well, we'll get him on some skis and he'll just ski off the side of the building, land on a bit that's just conveniently
I wanted to look
enough,
at Smith's face during that.
and then he just jumps off and lands in the road and he's just like, I'm bipping and a bopping.
I mean,
It's like Bill Cosby impression.
It's like
very weird.
Superman. I guess it's what actually the bit I was going to say is when he starts to turn evil. So they obviously give him the green.
Superman, this is.
Superman turns evil, and obviously
because he just rocks up as a
straightens
general.
the Leaning Tower of Pisa scene, which we spoke about a couple of times in the film. But yeah, I guess the point where we get Christopher Reeves turning evil gradually. This is the bit where
it's
I
really
was
well done, I thought.
fully invested. Yeah, I think it is excellent because Christopher Reeve is such a good actor that actually you've gone from Clark Kent to Superman, and now you've got bad Superman. He's not a lot more apart from a little bit of
Costume and makeup.
Yeah, exactly.
They nail it.
5 o'clock shadow, a bit of eyeliner. His suit looks slightly darker.
Well, it's definitely like the red is now magenta.
Yeah,
almost,
it's magenta.
dark
Maybe
purple.
they
the blue
changed it.
sort of just
they probably
goes
couldn't
a bit
even grade
dark.
back then. I don't know.
No, it wouldn't have been that great. Jesus Christ.
So they just gave him a different costume. But anyway, it's all in the performance, and
He does
as he gradually, it's gradual though. It's not just like I am bad.
What are you looking at? Huh?
Excuse me, Superman. It's me, Ricky. Ricky from Smallville. Superman, tell him he won't hurt anybody.
Ricky, he's changed.
No, maybe he's just sick.
And I think the interesting thing is, with the first one, there's always this kind of identity grapple between him and Clark Kent. And in this one, we don't really get that, but we get the point of him kind of grappling with this like evil spirit within
Basically,
him.
the Andrew Tate of Superman.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a prick. He's just a
Contemporary
prick.
reference.
The first film doesn't really. I would say the first film doesn't really deal with any kind of crisis of identity. The second one definitely does because
Or
he's
maybe
like,
it's the second one I'm thinking of.
yeah, second one he's like, do I want to be Superman and not be able to be in, or do I be in love and tell my lovely partner Lois that I am Superman? But yeah, you're right. The third one, it turns it into like a literal battle.
It's
for
like
control.
a literal battle rather than.
But that bit in the bar is like one of my favourite scenes.
Drunk Superman.
Drunk Superman flicking
the
peanuts, destroying stuff, and then using his. I love the fact they didn't do the stupid. I shouldn't say stupid. They didn't do the red beam heat beams. It shows the glass just distorting,
warps, yeah.
and it distorts his own vision. His reflection, and it's like that's good.
But the
then
way
he's
he
walking
acts there as well is, he's all kind of bent over, and it's all in his.
Well, they talked about before. I think we probably did it on the first film. Is Christopher Reeve? They always and he said it himself. Like he played two different roles. He didn't play like, I'm Superman with glasses. It was like as Clark, his posture changed, everything. And like they say in the second film, when he reveals his identity, when she realizes, there's like this amazing scene where he goes from being, I think that's it. He falls into the fire. She's like, Clark, and he takes his hand. He's like, and
That's
she's
a great
like,
scene.
you're not. And he just takes off his glasses, but he stands. He basically goes from.
just stop being hunched
But
over.
it's so
I
subtle.
think they even put the music on.
I think
don't
they do, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh shit, like that is someone who's an actor in technically a comic book movie, but someone who's clearly taken that role seriously. And in this, like Smith says, as evil Superman, it's not just Superman. It's like he's now embodied. You can imagine him almost like method acting this shit, like going around like in a local town before and being a dickhead to people. And it's just he's really kind of. And I said this, something I never thought about seeing this film before is always in the comic books and cartoons, kryptonite is always presented as the thing that weakens Superman. It's like, oh no, Superman.
Yes.
I think even in in the Brandon Routh film, it's a giant island of kryptonite and it weakens him, right?
God.
That's that Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor.
The Return one.
Superman Returns. That was all about giant kryptonite island. In Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck, Superman versus Batman, Batman v Superman, whichever it was called, that dreaded film, that awful film. To beat Superman, Batman uses a kryptonite like staff or knife thing, stabs him or something. But this film, I think, is like, what a wonderful take on kryptonite. It's not like, oh, I'm weak. It's like, it's ravaging him. And that scene where he just like he goes to the. We were laughing about it because he's ravished. He's like, I'm just going to go to the dump, like the local. What they call
Where am I going to go to sort this out?
What's it called in America? What are they called?
I think dump, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, where they
Junkyard.
Junkyard. That's the word.
Junkyard.
Yeah. So he goes to the.
They'll get the idea.
Yeah,
anyway.
he goes to the dump. He goes to the junkyard, and when he gets there, and there's a bunch of workers, and he just screams. It's like the first film when he does that, like scream that
at the end of the film.
Oh, so good.
I think, like I said, like this scene is the only scene that I could remember from
It's iconic.
when I was a kid. And for me, like watching this, like if I watched just this scene, I'd be like, man, this is like a 10 out of 10.
Absolutely.
It's brilliant, but it feels like this is so departed from the rest of the film, unfortunately. But it's done so well because it is obviously the two characters. You're so invested that one is Clark, one is Superman, and obviously we've seen them as one entity in everything else that's come before. But all of a sudden we're seeing them fight each other, and you guys made a really good point that whoever the stunt double is,
so good.
It works really well.
Really
I remember sort of films from this era when you were doing like a split screen, like it was the same person twice. It always looked dreadful.
Yeah.
And I think that you said yourself, didn't you, Etok? There's like one bit where it looks a tiny bit rotary.
I think it's right. You always wanted to fly, didn't you, Kent?
Yeah.
And he's holding him, and you can see him like wobble a bit. And it's just like, okay, that's fair enough.
But other than that, oh my god,
the double
it's
during the fight scene is so
brilliant.
good.
The bit where like Clark gets crushed in the
the trash
claw
compactor.
Again, when I was a kid,
and
I watched that.
It's
terrifying.
It's terrifying
because it's the way he is in there. Like we know he's indestructible, but he's panicking. He's like, oh, and he's like going under.
The way the trash.
It's weird you say we know he's
indestructible.
indestructible, but because he's Clark,
and because he's fighting Superman as well.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly. You don't feel you believe that.
There was one thing I noticed. I think I might have said to Nige. I said, what I love about it is in the fight scene, Clark is fighting like Clark, not Superman.
Yeah.
He's kind of awkward. And Superman isn't necessarily fighting like Superman. He's fighting like drunk Superman. So he's like picking up shit. Like he's picked up a metal beam. He's like, come on, Ken. Just hits him. And he's like, it's like he's a barroom brawler or something. He's like, come on. He's like chasing him into a fight. And then you see that kind of, that's the beauty of it. You see Clark almost slowly become Superman in that scene where he becomes more and more downtrodden and defeated and stuff, and then he gets put into, like I turned to Nigel, I was like, did he just scream? He gets put into
like a grinder almost.
A grinder, and you see like all these cars being ground up through these things, and this big thing, and it's all like, it's almost like comically like chugging away and air pressure and everywhere, and then you hear a scream inside. It's like, Jesus, I do not remember that as a kid because that would have traumatized me.
Yeah.
And then Superman's sort of like, he's broken Clark's glasses, then Clark just rips out the sun. You're like, fuck yeah, it's such a great scene.
Starts choking him as well.
Just starts choking, like, and then just chokes him on the floor. Dun, dun, and the music is building and building. You're like, oh fuck, is he going to do it? He just chokes him, he just vanishes. It's like boom, boom, boom.
I wondered whether he'd be like choking himself. Like,
what was that? Evil Dead.
Yeah,
exactly.
Evil
Something
Dead.
like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god. Yeah. It's a really, really
that would have been a great.
Well, it's a beautiful scene. This is where we were trying to make sense of the plot.
Maybe we shouldn't go into the plot too much, but there's this supercomputer, a big, massive kryptonite shooting machine.
The missile scene is still one of my, again, as a kid.
Oh yeah, go on.
Because it was. I mean, I actually. I said I haven't watched much about like anything about Superman 3. I think it was about a month or two ago. Randomly, I was watching like a video game channel on YouTube, and they talked about how they made that Superman. Because in the film, like this supercomputer, it's a cute moment because it's clearly like 80s computers and video games kind of brought into one. So now we've got Webster with two little joysticks controlling all these missiles, and it's kind of a good action piece in a way.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And he's firing all these missiles, but it's done as like a video game, so he's getting points and stuff. It's a really great idea. But as a kid, again, I remember like thinking, I want that Superman.
Yeah.
It was so state of the. I mean, in '83, those graphics are insane. Because I remember like going, what? You can do it. Like, bear in mind, like Outrun wouldn't come out for another 2 years, and that was groundbreaking. You'd had maybe like Afterburner before that, but it was. I think they said on this documentary I watched, like a very brief documentary, they said that they had so many people trying to find out about how do you get this Superman game. And it's like, what arcade is it in? Because clearly it's not a home computer game. But yeah, it's a really fun action scene. And then, he arrives at the supercomputer, and that's the big confrontation where I guess characters come good and baddies get
you get a clear divide between the brother and the sister who are still the bad guys.
Yeah.
And we sort of glossed over the fact that Superman flies in and basically has sex after being entrapped by the secretary played by Pamela Stevenson on like the top of the Statue of Liberty, because why not?
Of course.
And then all of a sudden, like, she's on his side, but he's like, no, that wasn't me. She's like, oh, Superman, don't you remember the other night? He's like, that wasn't me.
That wasn't me.
And you got Richard Pryor, who's kind of on his side, but Superman throws them all into the same boat of being the bad guys. But then as the computer tries to kill him, they take his side and try and help him out, which he does
had flashbacks
recognise.
to me, in the first one, in the pool scene where he gets the thing around his neck and gets thrown in the pool by Lex Luthor.
The girlfriend of Lex Luthor.
Yeah, and the girlfriend of Lex Luthor steps in and drags him out.
Yeah.
And this felt kind of reminiscent of that.
What's her name? Miss Tegmeyer?
Yeah. Exactly, because he's so helpless because of the water. In this, he's being kind of beamed with this kryptonite thing, which is even more powerful than just the rock. But it kind of like flashed back to that for me.
Yeah, it's good shout.
And then probably the most memorable bit, aside from the Superman versus Clark Kent, is as they're trying to escape this this like supercomputer.
Because basically we established it becomes AI.
It basically becomes self-learning,
self.
Like Richard Pryor, it wants to
Space
live.
Odyssey.
It's Judgment Day, basically.
Judgment Day,
exactly. And the sister gets dragged back into it and turned into like this crazy android thing that looks like something out of Evil Dead or something just completely wild.
Sis?
But that scene where she gets dragged back it's all very like you get the stop motion wires kind of and the noises she's making like panic
and the way
terror.
that like the wires go across, and then Superman gets sucked in as well, and he snuck in some acid which came up from the earlier fire, and it's all very roundabout, and then it bubbles over, and it's a bit anticlimactic.
It is a bit in a way. I never thought about that.
There's no big explosion or
I think there is a big. I mean,
there isn't a big explosion, but
and then he flies off with Gus and drops him at a random.
Well, he drops him off at
the same.
No, it's not. It's not the
like
place
a
he gets
mine
the
or
acid.
somewhere.
It's just a mine
random.
in.
It's kind of like
I don't. What happens to the bad guys? Nothing.
It doesn't really matter.
He does say
does
to them.
It's
like he says something like, I think Richard Pryor says to him when they're flying, like, what about the others? And he says, well, they'll get to what's coming to them in the court of law or something like that. He makes a reference to like justice.
Just like,
and then we're just like,
and then he's in space.
And then we're in the Daily Planet.
Yes, that's
to see Lois come back and meet Lana and
be like,
oh, I'm jealous of you.
Which it was a cute scene though.
It was.
I
nice.
like Margot Kidder's like jealousy essentially, and then you've got Lana just looking.
I think you're right. The jealousy bit is interesting because you're like, oh.
Where are we going to go from here?
Yeah, exactly. And
nowhere.
Then, nowhere.
I can't wait for Superman 4. A quest for a good film.
Nige, give us some trivia. I feel like
bit of trivia.
Quite a while. Still a good hour.
Christopher Reeve was not happy with this film.
Oh.
Christopher Reeve was not happy with the film.
He was really not, and often expressed in interviews he was mostly disappointed with how the film turned out, although he was very happy with obviously the scene we've just discussed, and so that's almost like from a different film, the fight between himself and Clark Kent, or between Superman and Clark Kent.
He actually said that?
He was like, that's an amazing scene. He loved it. But the rest of the film he thought was terrible.
That's so egotistical.
He told his dad, after he made Superman films, he told to his dad, do not watch Superman 3 or 4, because they're just crap. And basically, after viewing this film, he said, I'm never going to play Superman again. And the only reason they got him back for Superman 4 was because he got more input on the script, which obviously helped a lot, because that film... No.
Chefs.
But it was actually the first time that Christopher Reeve got top billing for a Superman film.
Superman 3?
Yeah.
Oh, because Gene Hackman,
Gene Hackman.
Really?
Yeah.
And Marlon Brando as well.
Of course.
So
Well,
he was
I
always...
guess in the first one he was unknown, really, wasn't he?
To some degree, yeah. But
Like,
also,
not unknown, but
like Nige says, Gene Hackman, French Connection, Marlon Brando, one of the all-time greatest actors.
Exactly, yeah. He got paid a
I
fortune
think the
as well.
second one he would be top billing, but...
No.
Wow.
No. But yeah, he was saying how, like, Richard Donar missed him tremendously.
That was your impression.
Again, he enjoyed that sequence with the
No.
Clark Kent, the automobile stuff, but he says the rest is just a misconception and was just a mistake.
Wow.
So that's his kind
Christopher
of feeling
Reeve.
on it. We obviously mentioned the office space. like call back to the shaving of the scent. I love that aspect as well. So, and I mentioned Smallville, Louis Lane. I mentioned Smallville, Lana Lang being involved in that. Margot Kidder was also in Smallville.
Really?
Christopher Reeve, I mentioned. Terrence Stamp was. Helen Slater as well.
Wow.
Loads of people
Wow.
were in it. And Lana Lang in Smallville as well was just amazing.
Sounds
but
like
I
a
would
porn
say
star, doesn't it,
that in
Lana Lang?
Smallville, she had a friend, like Superman has a friend who plays a journalist. I can't remember her name. But anyway, in real life, she became involved in like a weird sex cult. And ended up in jail. So
Alison
Mackey.
Alison Mackey.
Somebody
I had a
said...
massive crush on her back in the day because I was like, she's really pretty.
She was lovely.
And then she turned into a member of a sex cult.
Wow.
It was a really bad, branding people.
Fuck.
Yeah. Very awful.
Robert Vaughn couldn't go to his child's school after filming this because he was so scared that they'd all be like, "You tried to kill Superman."
No way.
So that's pretty cute. Video game you mentioned was actually shot on actually made on an Atari, but they never released the game. When they first put it together, the graphics were so realistic. They were like, you have to make it look more like a computer game. It just looks real. Yeah. So even back in 1983, they were pushing the boundaries.
It is so good.
We kind of mentioned Richard Pryor. I said at the start, he was trying to do a serious role. This did not turn into that. It also got him a worst supporting actor Razzie nomination, poor old Richard Pryor. He also was very scared of heights, so hated all the flying scenes, of which there's not that many, to be fair.
No.
So,
And
this
he was
film,
on a blue screen, right? So.
Yeah, he was actually flying. Of course he was. We're going to drag you across the ground.
Rather than be called Superman 3, this film was originally going to be called Superman versus Superman.
Oh,
I do know that. Yeah.
But
I reckon that might have done better.
well, maybe, but the producers of Kramer versus Kramer were like, no, you're trying to rip off our film. And then in the end, they were like, Superman 3 is just a better title anyway. Let's just go with that. I can imagine the producers and the studio heads discussing that. But yeah, never mind. Richard Pryor was paid around, depending on reports, $4 to $5 million.
Wow.
Which at the time made him
that's a lot.
That was the biggest salary ever for a black actor at that time.
Wow.
And it was only surpassed by Eddie Murphy getting like 8 to 10 for Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Yeah.
No way.
Back in 1987. So. A bit of casting. So Lana Lang, we know Old Tool came in. Yeah, Robin Williams. Robin Williams initially was going to take it, but was too busy doing 10 years of prep for Flubber.
Yeah.
So instead,
Robin Williams, the
Jennifer
bicentennial man role.
Exactly, going back in
that
time.
thing at the end.
Jennifer Jason Leigh apparently was offered the role, but was very young and was like, I'm too young for this role, and turned it down.
Wow.
So I don't know whether she'd done the Hitcher by that point or not, but yeah. And then a couple of like really weird bits of trivia.
Yeah.
Go on.
We kind of discussed this as we watched it. There seems to be a lot of random references to KFC in this film.
We did see
And
those.
the film was actually filmed largely in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where Bret the Hitman Hart comes from as well. Which was also Canada's first Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise.
Right.
We do see a Kentucky Fried Chicken suit, which Richard Pryor wears. We see it on the back of a door as well,
Poster,
this like weird thing.
Yeah.
He talks about it at one point.
Yeah.
He says
There's
like,
a reference, isn't there?
He's talking about the kryptonite, and he says, you know how like there's that secret recipe that people don't know, and he's talking about KFC.
There's also the guy handing out the checks, who may not have spotted this, had a Colonel Sanders style.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Beard and tash.
I mean, that's mental.
And apparently in a previous film, Superman 2, a KFC employee in Metropolis is carried off by a super breath windstorm during the 3-on-1 fight. So I feel like, like the fight when they're blowing, there's a KFC guy that gets blown away there. For some reason, Superman loves KFC.
Okay.
It's Super Chicken.
Super Chicken.
Super Chicken.
Super Chicken. The quest for
And
chicken.
it also
Quest for Chicken.
also has one of the first ever appearances on celluloid for an ATM machine.
Oh, this was your trivia you mentioned.
Yeah, so randomly, there's a guy who just starts getting money where Gus is fiddling about with the supercomputers
Making
and doing all sorts of
weird
stuff.
sound effects.
Yeah, it's just like, here's an ATM. You want somebody? Want somebody? So that was absolutely mad. But yeah.
Gremlins.
And then, like, Pryor got a $5 million contract for this film. After this film, he signed a 5-year deal with Columbia Pictures for $40 million.
Wow.
40,
That's
which made him obviously amazingly well paid. But, as I mentioned, a couple of Razzie nominations for this, and a lot of critics. One of the critics said it was an appalling sequel that trashed everything that Superman was about for the sake of cheap laughs and a co-starring role for Richard Pryor. So
Wow.
the general
Consensus?
reviewing reception from critics was not great.
good.
Not
But
good.
what do these critics think of the film? Let's find out.
Let's find out. Nice trivia, Nige.
Are we going with?
I think we go with Bobbert.
Bobby Tubbs. What you got for
Bobbert
us, Simon?
Tubbs.
Come on, Simon.
Well,
I'm so intrigued by this because, like,
I'm just going to
to
press something for you.
his voice note. Shut up! Am I going to hear his vocal tones?
Hello, James, and Nige. Loving the pod. Thanks for inviting me to do this note on Superman 3. What a movie. What a peculiar movie. What a strange film it is on rewatching. I can genuinely say that I was terrified by the robot transformation at the end. When the computer gets hold of that woman, despite her being a villain, it is genuinely terrifying. And the robot that comes out by today's standards is absolutely laughable. But it used to really traumatise me as a kid. I see this as the last of a really good trilogy of Christopher Reeve Supermans. As we know, the fourth one was pretty low budget and arguably even stranger and didn't really work, despite having a good adversary in Nuclear Man. It also marks the announcement, to me at least, of Richard Pryor as the comedy genius that he was. I didn't know him as a comic. I didn't realise as a child when I watched the movies that this is what Hollywood did with the likes of John Candy, Bill Murray, Steve Martin, Eddie Murphy, etc. These were Saturday Night Live comics made bigger and bolder by the movie industry. So very much a promotional pathway. And I guess this was Richard Pryor kind of illustrating the route that so many great comics would take. He works fantastically well. It's a strange movie. It's a peculiar movie. I'll give it a solid 6 out of 10. It probably would have been a 5 because it is quite clunky. But it is held together by the ever-dependable Christopher Reeve and a genuinely terrifying villain that I have a lot of nostalgic love for. Okay, hope you're all good. Cheers. Bye.
That was great.
That was very good.
That was so
very
good.
I enjoyed
Bobby.
that. I love the fact that he didn't come on and like, you know, it's like, oh, I love it. It was a 10 or something.
Yeah.
It's just like, no, I wanted to see this film. I watched it again. Actually, it's about a 6. And that's primarily he's given it an extra point for nostalgia purposes.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a wonderful word he kept using, peculiar.
It is a very,
It's a very peculiar movie.
Yeah, Bobby, thank you so much for sending that in. And thank you for doing the voice note that I kind of bugged you for
and anyone
twice
listening to
today.
This, anyone listening to this going, that guy's voice is like silky smooth
It's
butter
so
compared
smooth.
to these 3 wretches.
So lovely.
Thank you,
so yeah, 6 out of 10 from Bobby. Yeah, what do we think?
My goodness.
We talk?
Oh, shit. Oh, I didn't want to. Right, okay. I said on the way here with Smithy, I said, there's a comparison I want to make because I think it works in terms of a kind of a broad review or my feelings on this movie. When I was a kid, I'm going to start off with another franchise. When I was a kid, Rocky 3 was my favourite Rocky movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
1982, 1983, maybe.
Yeah, same time.
Because the film...
A vintage year.
But yeah, Rocky 3 was like... I thought it was an amazing movie because it was like a comic book come to life. It was like, you know, over the top and all that.
The Sylvester Stallone film?
No, I was gonna say, that is not a good film.
I've got to stop naming Stallone movies. But yeah, when I went back to revisit the Rocky series, I think as we've all done over the years, Rocky 3 almost became like one of my least favourites. And it's like, that's really weird. Like, nostalgia I thought would have played a bigger part. And it does to a degree. If it was like, oh yeah, if I was 10 years old watching Rocky 3 again, 10 out of 10 or something. Now I'm like, Rocky 2's better, Rocky 1's infinitely better. Some cases, Rocky 5 might be better as well. Rocky 4 definitely better than Rocky 3. The reason I bring this up is that growing up, like, as a kid, Superman 3 was infinitely better than 1 and 2.
Wow.
It was just like, well, because I was a kid. Like, 1 was slow and monotonous. 2 had the villains, but I was never... Even to this day, I'm never too keen on 2. But 3, he there's all these action set pieces. There's comedy. There's an evil Superman. There's kryptonite. There's video game action. There's computers. There's big storms. It's if you were to look at the Superman movies 1 to 3, let's kind of say what Bobby Tubbs said, and it's like a trilogy. The 3 is the kid-friendly movie, and it's kind of like Rocky 3. Rocky 3 is kind of, I know it's still an adult movie, it's kind of aimed at kids. And with Superman 3, I think that's like a really good comparison, because they are two movies that you watch them as kids, you're like, wow, and then you grow up and you're like, they're all right, they're not great. I think my rating for this is primarily based on nostalgia. There's a lot about this movie I still enjoy. It's a very funny movie, but again, Bobby Tubbs said it perfectly. It's such a peculiar movie. It feels like numerous movies in one. As Smith pointed out, like, characters seem to come and go. At one point, like, Smith was just like, wait a second, so they made Superman evil, but they still build a supercomputer to kill evil Superman. It's like, yeah, that doesn't really make sense, does it? And there's a lot of that. Like I say, it feels like maybe some of this film was done on the fly or something. But again, to echo what Bobby Tubbs said, the thing that holds it together, so firmly, is Christopher Reeve. Like, the set pieces are really good. The fight at the junkyard, the dump is amazing. It is like the scene that kind of transcends the movie. I really like some of the chemistry in this, especially, like we said, like Lana and Clark Kent is really good chemistry. It's very kind of ideal and heartfelt. But there's a lot of like wasted time in this, like subplots, like with the couple that win the bingo. We didn't need all the bingo scenes. We didn't need to see the scenes of Superman being evil. I would have been more happy like, oh, Superman's going evil, maybe see a newspaper thing and then him flicking peanuts. We don't need to see him ripping an oil tanker, then going and doing this and then going and doing that and then he's doing this. It felt like the film was, I was watching this and one of the notes I wrote down was like, fun project in the future. Like, maybe edit this down and see if you can create a more concise film, like an hour and a half or something. It's way too long. It doesn't need to be that long. I like Richard Pryor, but he does feel like he's in a different movie a lot of the time. It is a fun movie, though, but it's I mean, if you're going to compare it to Superman 1, it doesn't hold a candle to it. It really doesn't. Superman 1 is just an incredible movie. This one is like, it sounds weird to say the last of a good franchise, but yeah, I mean, it was on its way out, I think, at this point, and then 4 was just a massive error. But yeah, there are things to like about this movie, but I think my rating is purely based on nostalgia. I think I'm going to go for a 6 out of 10, because I think a lot of my memories of this, and we said during it, like, especially me and Nige, were like, oh, I remember this, oh, I forgot that, I remember this. There's those bits. There's so much in between that's like, oh, what are we doing with this scene? But the stuff that hits really hits. But as a film, it's like my reviews. It's a bit of a mess.
Nice.
Very good.
Nicely said. Like.
Oh man, I'm so torn with this film, like Superman and Clark Kent. I suppose.
Have a fight with yourself.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow,
like,
he's actually having a fight with himself right now.
The nostalgia is strong with this one. I feel like every scene that Lana Lang is in, I'm on like this dream cloud. Oh my goodness.
Sorry, Helen.
And I'd completely forgotten that I loved her. As soon as she came on screen, I was like, like goo-goo-eyed and everything else. I think Pamela Stephenson is incredible in this as well. Right. And yeah, like I said, like Robert Vaughn is a bit of a B movie. The script is all over the place, but those highs are so high.
I agree.
Like even the bit when they take Lana Lang's kid bowling and he blows on the ball and it blows up all the pins. It's just like there's so many bits I really enjoyed. And yes, it's messy. Yes, it's too long, but I still really like it. And even going back and watching it now, yes, the nostalgia was strong, but I still really enjoyed it. Would I watch it again for another 10, 20 years? Probably not. But if I just leave it in that nice, warm little place it is now, I'll be very happy to do so. I don't remember Superman 2 very well. I remember Superman, of course. And I've also got that real strong, like, Lana Lang nostalgia from, like, Smallville. And the fact a lot of the cast from this, as I mentioned previously, went into that.
He's really into Lana.
I really am, yeah. And the robot scene, there's so much I like about this film. So I'm really going to probably go way too high. The nostalgia is like pulling me by my cape as high as I can possibly go. I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10?
Yeah, I am. I really, really like this film.
Superman 1?
Probably 7 or 8.
No, I think you gave it a 9. I'm sure.
Maybe.
I think
it was
like
quite high.
First 999s or something.
But yeah, like,
I get it. I get what
it doesn't work in quite a lot of ways, but it's almost like it's not trying to be a Superman film. It's just trying to be something else. Yeah, it's kind of a problem, but it kind of works. Like you said, the opening scene, the comedy, the stupidity. I've just got a real soft spot for a lot of that. I get it.
Like, the highs are really high. They really are. I'm not trying to judge you.
And the way it kind of like has played into like popular culture since, I mentioned the Office Space stuff and things like that. Richard Pryor was, I think he's brilliant in this, even if he was coked up to the eyeballs and just being a bit crazy. It just, a lot of it really works. Even the bad guy, the quarterback guy who's back in Smallville, Brad was just, it's brilliant. There's so many bits.
He's called Brad.
For a plot, it makes no sense. Like, it's all over the place. The ending is a bit of a damp squib. It doesn't quite work, but Lana.
Yeah. I think you're fine. I think you're like, you're getting the old convoy vibes here, aren't you?
A little bit. Yeah. The kid's really annoying.
Yeah, it's weird for me because I would say I probably have less nostalgia for this film than I do the other two, which is weird because, like you said, like if I'd watched this film a lot as a kid, it probably does appeal more to that kind of audience.
I've just not grown up. What can I say?
But yeah, I was expecting to come in today and absolutely slam this film.
Oh, wow.
To be honest, because I just thought it was just going to be like shit.
You thought it was going to be Superman 4.
But yeah, I couldn't remember it. All I could remember, like I say, is that fight, and like I said, like that fight is
10 out of 10.
Yeah, it's worth watching.
We mentioned the link to kind of like They Live. It's much longer than I think any of us remembered.
Yeah.
But yeah, like all of you guys have said, Christopher Reeve easily holds this film together. I think for me, this film felt like a mess, though. I think the script is so all over the place. I don't think Richard Pryor should be in this film. I didn't find him funny in this film. I think, unfortunately, like there's moments in it where you're like, huh, but actually that 35 minutes when he's not in it are the best bits of the film. And most of that is with Christopher Reeve finding himself. It's the bit with the laser thing when he's like getting distracted elsewhere. And that's because it, goes back to its roots. This film is confused. It's written really badly. It's far too long.
Is there a twist coming up?
There are some brilliant there's brilliant set pieces. I thought the relationship between him and Lana, was going to have a problem with because I was so invested with Lois. Yeah. But they do that really well. I don't think Lois should have been coming back at the end. I'm not even sure she should have been in it at all if they were not going to focus on this character. But yeah, overall, it's fine. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
Wow.
I think it was okay, but I wouldn't want to watch it again for a long time. I don't think.
I get Nige's take on it completely. It's like those highs are really high. But for me, there's kind of too many lows in it.
There are.
It's like a roller coaster.
Like Bobby said,
like
if you've got that nostalgia, I can imagine why you can bump it up a little bit more. But for me, I don't really have that. No. So, yeah. And guys, where do you stand on Superman 3?
Where do you fly?
Are you on the roller coaster of love?
Are you in a phone box?
Are you on that dream cloud with Lana Lang?
Are you or Nige's?
Jesus Christ.
Email us on offradarpod@gmail.com. Tweet us at offradarpodcast. Check us out on YouTube. Watch some of the shorts and the videos. Check out Serial Geek while you're there.
Oh, thank you.
He doesn't need any more views, but he's he's getting
greedy now.
And give us another film to watch next time.
We need your help. We are looking to grow Off Radar and release more and more high quality content. Please give us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your pod. And why not share with your friends and loved ones?
Help me help you.